Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of Hair Chat with Kiani. I'm your host, Kiani Washington. I am the founder of Chat Skin and Hair Co. And I just so happen to be a cosmetology educator. You know what? I know you're probably like, why did you even say that? Well, I like saying that because it's been a long journey to this point, and it's been a long time in this industry. And if you have been in the cosmetology industry for any length of time, you realize that every step in this industry is a journey. It's a fight. It's a love. It's a passion. It's a I don't want to do it anymore. It's a what's happening today type of emotion. But at the end of the day, if you're in it like I'm in it, you're like you're stuck with me, cosmetology. And guess what? The cosmetology industry is indeed stuck with moi. So I wanted to just, really talk about not so much my journey and how I've gotten to where I am, but just talk about where I am in relation to how I feel about serving in our industry. So when I started off in this industry, I learned how to braid first, and then I learned how to do hair. And I started watching, most people, if you're a lover of all things hair like me when you were younger, you would sit in your hairstylist chair and you would let other people go ahead of you so that you could watch what she was doing. That was me all day long. So when I actually had to get my cosmetology license, so I did not go straight into doing hair out of high school, even though I learned at 12. It took me a while. I went into the military, and then when I got out, I still didn't do it, but eventually I did. Don't get on me. I'm just saying. But when I did, and I actually went to cosmetology school, which was probably like the best thing that could have happened to me. I learned a lot more than I felt like I was giving myself credit to want to learn, if that makes sense to anybody. I think when we are very skilled and talented with things, we don't really realize how much the education can add value to what we're already doing. So we're like, I already got this, and at this point, I just really need this license so that I can do it without getting any, repercussions from the government. So I think that was my first thing going into it. But when I got into school, I was like, okay, yeah, I needed this because I think if nothing else, it kind of built up my self confidence. The other students that were kind of confident in what they were already doing, and then the instructor and like her confidence in what she had built in her career, it just kind of made me, be more confident in what I was doing. Even though after I got out of cosmetology school, I did not go right into doing hair. Again, don't get on me and don't judge me. But I'm just saying, I did do hair. I did not go into the salon. I did do it, and I was doing it up until a certain point, and then I went into the salon. But I felt like I put myself in a box for a long time, and it wasn't until, and like God works in crazy days, but it wasn't until like my injury from the military made me have to shift and do something different to where I started to expand my outlook of the industry itself. I went into aesthetics, and it's still, even though I felt like I probably would have done aesthetics, I still didn't do aesthetics, but it was just something about hair that just kept calling me. But in doing aesthetics, I learned a lot about just like ingredients, the skin, and really product making. So my instructor was a medical esthetician from Puerto Rico, and she had made her own product, and I thought that was amazing. And I'm like, oh my God, I can do that myself. But I wanted to do that for hair. So I took what I learned in skin and applied it to hair. And again, I didn't have a choice but to kind of push back from the industry, from what I was doing in the industry, to do something else. So I made a product. But it was crazy. Like in my mind, I was thinking to myself that the way that I had served my clients, like, okay, if anybody who has been with their clients or had their clients for a certain length of time, they are your clients. Like they're almost like a little bit of family to you in ways. And so when you think about the fact that you have to send them off into the world. Kind of like if you have kids, you got to send them off into the world and they have to find somebody else to care for them. And you're like, oh my God. And it's like the attachment is so strong. And that part, just understanding like how I care for them, how I care for not just their hair, but I care for who they are. I care for like how they feel. And a lot of times today we don't really see that a lot. But I wanted to translate that over into my product. So I was like, how do I translate the same way I care for my clients over into making products? And at this point, I'm like, I want to make products that everybody can use on their hair. I didn't just want to make products that just the people that I had been serving all that time, which was predominantly Black women. I didn't want to do that anymore. And learning skin actually taught me that I really didn't have to do that, that I was in a box that I didn't have to be in. It was just the road that I had gone down that kind of put me in that box. But I say all that to say, like, now that my mind is shifting to thinking different, like, oh, I can create something that anybody can use. I didn't know what that looked like, but I did know that researching ingredients for what they are, what they can do, and just understanding a certain things about like the body itself, then I'm like, well, maybe I can make this product that anybody can use, not knowing that along the way that was totally going to shift to something else and to where we are today. So I will say that, again, trying to make this product, it just still felt like something was missing. Like I could never put my finger on it. I'm like, I'm making this product and now I got to make these labels and I'm about to put these words on the back and I'm like, what am I supposed to say? And how do I tell these people that it's for anybody? Like how do companies do that? And I'm like, well, I've never seen a company do that. Is it that products can't be for anybody? Or like, am I tripping? Is something wrong? Like what's going on? But I will tell you again, blessings in disguise. You just never know how God will work things out. I, being a military veteran, was able to go to an entrepreneur program. And in that program, they teach you as an entrepreneur. Like I would suggest that anybody is in any industry, just as a side note, that if you have never gone through any entrepreneurial training, just entrepreneurial training, not entrepreneurial training in your industry, but just specifically entrepreneurial training, you are missing out because it makes you dig deeper. It makes you look deeper. It makes you look deeper into yourself. It makes you look deeper into like how you think about people and the things that you do and you provide for people. So it just made me look and think and want to go that much deeper, and the more in depth I started to go. And I was doing like entrepreneurial program after entrepreneurial program, and they ask you these really like in-depth questions like, what is your why? What do you mean what's my why? Like, I want to do some hair, like, but it's more than that. Like, what is the story behind why you want to do it? And I just kept like digging deeper. So this started for me in like 2018 and then 2019 and then 2020 and 2021. And like in this time, we go through this COVID transfer and I'm still trying to figure out how can I communicate the value of I care for all people in this product. And I could never ever, like I still was stumped trying to figure it out. I went to school again. I know. Do I love school like that? No. But I know that I needed to keep extending my training if I wanted to get better at the things that I was serving to other people. So I went to school to be a cosmetology educator. Why'd I do that? Nobody told me nothing. Like, y'all knew and y'all didn't say nothing. Y'all should have told me when I said I was going to go to school to be a cosmetology educator to just think, well, I'm going to say it was one of the best experiences for me because it opened up my mind to why we cannot dig deeper, why it's so hard for us as service providers to dig deeper into what we're doing. And it's because now, mind you, I had already been a cosmetologist. like 2005 up until like my transition started happening in like 2013-ish, 2014, 2015. And then I'm shifting over to aesthetics and things of that nature. But when it hit for me to um, go for entrepreneurial training, that's when that training and going to school for cosmetology educator meshed together. And I was like, I see what it is. And it still was a journey even after then. Like, even after I got my educator's license, I could see a little clearer, but I just felt like there was more, there was more work to be done, more depth to be gone to like go into, and I felt like I could dig a little deeper and a little more, and I started expanding myself. Like I started pushing and pulling and stretching myself, like doing stuff outside of my comfort zone, like being presidents of organizations and joining groups, entrepreneurial groups, because I was making myself try to figure out what it was, and the only way to do that was to keep working and keep working and keep working on myself. And as I kept doing that, the more I kept working and digging and working and digging and working and digging. I think it took a while, but now I can say I know what it is. It's the care part of hair that we miss. We're good at making people look fantabulous. We are good at that. Like our industry is making people good at making people look like movie stars 1000. We are so good at that. Our creativity allows us to do so many things, but we're not always the best at caring for people. So again, I told you I was a cosmetologist and then I went aesthetics and then I was an educator. But the real piece of that was I became an entrepreneur. And when I became an entrepreneur, the entrepreneurial side of me said, well, you're working on people's hair. People's hair is attached to their scalp. Their scalp is a part of their body. So how do you not know anything about the body, but you're serving the person's head? And I was like, well, you asking too many questions, Kiani. Like you're going a little too deep. But I'm glad I did that deep work because today I do, like I said, I understand it's the care that's missing. I was doing it when I was serving my clients, and I could not figure out again how to translate that into a product, but it was more than translating that into a product. It was translating that into an industry that has expanded and grown and have reached more heights in billions and billions and billions of dollars at this point. But we missed caring for our people. We miss caring for our students in our training. We miss caring about people when they get their license. We miss caring about our consumers, our clients. We miss caring about the products that they put on their hair. Like we just completely just dropped the ball when it came down to really caring for people in this industry. And I was trying to figure out like what happened. Like I'm like whiplash. Like where was I there when it happened? Did I miss it? Like did, what happened? But we've totally I can't say that we have totally gotten away with it without gotten away from it. What I will say is I think there was a level that existed, but because we still our awareness for the whole person was not there, that we still skipped out on what it is that we were offering and doing and helping and serving and all of the things that we have been doing in this industry. So I'm particularly talking about hair because that's my jam. I'm all things hair, love it, love it, love it, love it. And now that I've learned so much more about our wonderful bodies and the activities of how our limbs work together, every unit working together to make us these beautiful beings, I'm even more intrigued on making sure that every person that is trained in this industry has that same type of messaging. Every person in this industry has that same type of practice, has that same type of mindset, has that same type of quality level of standard in their service. So Y'all, if you don't know me through this podcast, you're going to get to know me, okay? Because if I see a problem, I'm looking for a solution. That is just me every day, all day long. If I see a problem, I'm trying to find a solution. So at this point, I am creating a hair care practitioner course for our wonderful providers because I do feel like that we can go deeper. I know that we can go deeper. I know that there's a level of in-depthness, if that even makes sense, that we can go to for the people that we are serving. And I mean, not only do we owe it to them, but like we owe it to ourselves because at this point, like, I don't feel like we're even getting to really be us because we're missing out on being able to care for people. So when I say that I'm creating a hair care practitioner course, I'm also my company, Chat Skin and Hair Co. What I have decided to do is actually just redefine the word hair care in the cosmetology space. Y'all want to know what that means, right? Okay, let me explain. At this point, I feel like I need to explain everything I'm talking about. So I'm explaining, redefining the word hair care. Now, when I say hair care, y'all don't think about care, right? Am I right and wrong? Let me know when you watch this. Let me know if I'm right, if I'm wrong. You don't really think about care. You think about hair care, right? But there are two words. There's the hair and there's the care. You're caring for the hair, but you're caring. You can't care for hair without caring for the person, right? Right. So we are redefining it because for me, and you can do it too. I just Googled what does hair care mean in the cosmetology industry? And you know what it gave me? It gave me hairstyling and maintaining a level of quality of hair through shampoo and conditioning and combing and brushing and then some of those definitions were actually based on like Wikipedia, which had nothing to do with the cosmetology industry because everything that I looked up and I was like hair care, and when it came up it took me to websites that had like the website on their website is had hair care products, and then it was just a bunch of products, not necessarily for care, but it was just a bunch of products. So I'm like, yeah, no, that's not. And the lovely thing about my journey is I've had in-depth conversations with like cosmetic scientists, and I met a microbiologist, two of them. When I tell you if you're interested in anything in depth, more in depth with learning how to really care for hair, if you talk to microbiologists, oh my God, like the expansion that will come out of you once you start talking to them. But just being able to talk to them and researchers and talking to the curriculum developers, like Milady curriculum developers and people in government for governmental spaces that are in our industry. Yes, there are people are in the governmental, like they are strictly the people that are working on and for and trying to change laws. Then you have the board, like talking to people on the board, at the board, and really the testing facilitator. Like I just went all the way across the world. I was like, you know what? Let me just wipe myself across this industry in all the spaces um, in cosmetology, beauty supply stores, in all of the spaces, learning schools, learning teachers, learning students. Like I wanted to let's go to all the spaces and see what's missing. And then once we know what's missing, then maybe we can fix it. So that's what I did. I went in all the spaces. And again, we're redefining hair care in the space. So what is chat's definition? What is my definition? My definition of redefining of a newfound word of hair care in this cosmetology space It's the mindset, how you think. It's the practice, what you actually do. It's your standard, your level in which you do it, and the responsibility. Like you're taking this on as something that you do of maintaining the health, the integrity, and the function of both the scalp and the hair, inside and outside of the body. How, yeah, I said inside and outside because we know that hair starts inside, even though we're always focused on what we see outwardly. But again, that goes to caring for the whole person. And you can't care for the whole person if you don't know anything about the whole person. So that's why we have redefined the word. And now that we have redefined the word to mean exactly what I just said, now I said, let's create some practitioners of this. Let's create some people that they are now saying, I want to go to this level. This is the level I want to be on. So that is my journey. That is my current journey right now. Pray for you, girl. That is my current journey right now. And we'll get there hopefully in the next, week, two. It'll be out there. I'll have the waiting list. I will put up the wait list so that if you do decide that you would like to take this course, you will get a certificate that you can get on the wait list and be notified when it indeed launches. Anyway, I digress. So let's go back. But again, I'm creating that space. And then not only am I, of course, I already said I have hair products, but creating other opportunities of, again, putting care in our space. Like we need to put the care in our space. So this again is sort of, it is. It's the journey in which this podcast will take. So what you're going to hear in every part of any conversation that I have, whether it's just me having the conversation or whether it's me having a conversation with someone, another professional, a student, somebody in testing, again, I told you, I could not do this if I had not taken the time to understand all the things that bring together how we care for our people, how we style our people. So again, that's everything. So in this podcast, you will hear from a lot of people. You might even hear from yourself. Yep, I said it. You might hear from me. You might see your little self on here because again, we're trying to add the value of care into the space. And how do we know that value is missing or where it's missing if we're not talking to the people to explore where they see it's missing and what they identify of things that can be done next? That was a lot. I feel like I need to take a breath. I should have put like some water right here next to me so I feel like grab and drink. Okay, but anyway, I digress. But I'm so glad that you are here to join us. I'm hoping that you stick with it because we are going to have some very interesting conversations. And again, if you are watching this, it might just be you that I'm having this conversation with. And I am welcoming and opening the space up to have conversations with every person that has any stake in this industry at all, and any person that is being serviced by anybody, whether it be the product that you use, whether it be the service that you're getting, whatever that might be. We want to talk to you. Like, you know what? We're even going to talk to some dermatologists. Like, let's just dig deep in this thing. I mean, let's get a little deeper. We could probably get some cosmetic scientists on here. I mean, we can just go really deep with this because you need to know. You need to know, and you need to know, and I'm hoping you want to know how to be a part of this new movement of bringing hair care and all the spaces that exist, this new definition, the chat definition of all the spaces that exist in the cosmetology industry. So I'm going to say that's my time, right? And then we'll come back again and we'll just keep talking. We'll keep having this conversation. We'll keep bringing we're bringing all of the things together. Because what we do want is it to be wellness first, client center. Wellness first, client center. And I want to leave you with this. Hair care is the root. Styling is the fruit. You think on that and you let me know in the comments, or we'll talk about it next time. Until next time, I'm your host, Kiani Washington, founder of Chat Skin and Hair Co. And this is Hair Chat with Kiani.